In today's session, I want to be talking about this whole idea of decision making and how decisions really do affect your destiny, so to speak. Now, destiny sounds like a really big elusive end destination. However, it's just the fact that we end up in places based on the decisions that we make, whether we think we do or not. And so with that in mind, let's say, for example, there's some really big goal that you're trying to achieve. It may be a business goal. It may be a health goal. It may be a career-based goal. What are you doing? What are you telling yourself each day in order to support and enable that goal to be realized? There's something I consistently say that I've taken from the Bible, and that is, are you making your word your bond? What does that really mean? How do you close the gap between what's in your head and what reality is, so to speak? So for example, if you say you want to get a new job within the tech or fintech sort of like space, or if you say you want to start making £5,000 a month or whatever it may be, how are you closing that gap? How are you making your word and your bond? How are you making your word your bond, should I say? And it starts with your decisions. Okay. So this is the important thing I want to say about this. Now, last week I spoke about self-awareness. There is this whole idea of internal self-awareness and external self-awareness. And we need to develop a certain level of awareness in order for us to take ownership of our decision making. So what does this mean? It means that if you notice that you don't, let's say, for example, make certain activities or do certain activities that contribute to commercial activity for your business, or if you notice that you say you want to go to the gym, but then in the last micro minute or second, you decide that you don't want to go all of a sudden, and then you have this new lease of life for the next day, then you're forever chasing that future or tomorrow mentality. You're not chasing what is in the now. And so you have to be seated in the soul of ridding yourself of habits or habitual activity and focusing on decision making. There is a clear difference. I've said this in many videos before, where Charles Duhigg, who did a lot of sort of like research around the psychology of habit and how it operates with us. And we had a follow-on book from, I think it's James Clear with Atomic Habits, and he talked really well about habits and all these different things. I believe at least 60 or 40% is one of those figures of all of our decisions are actually habits. So we're not accustomed to making decisions. We're accustomed to automation. Okay. We're accustomed to, allowing the basal ganglia within our mind that has all these, crevices of automation wide within our brain, allowing us to do certain things, as opposed to using, what's on the forefront of our brains to actually make decisions. Okay. Again, if we go back to Stephen Peters' work, The Chimp Paradox and Silent Guides, there's that chimp energy, there's that human, there's the computer. And it's for our human, okay, coupled with our chimp, with passion, drive, and all these different things, to help us make decisions and not be so dependent upon the computer. We're in an age where we talk about habits all the time because, if we think about the economy of our sort of like society, it is created by systems, okay, loops, feedback mechanisms, all these different things. And so therefore it makes sense for us to rely on these habits, and they will serve us well. Okay. They call it a serval mechanism in psycho-cybernetics. However, if you want to really create that habit, it starts with decisions that you make even every single day. I would even argue that you don't even rely on habits. I would argue that you focus on making decisions, because if you're conscious and not seated within the unconscious, we can't help that completely, then the subconscious will support the conscious activity. Okay. That's what will happen. So are you a decision maker, or are you someone who just sits back? Are you someone who says they're going to the gym and actually goes, or are you someone who is not really doing that? I'll admit with you, I'm in that space right now when it comes to my health. Now, of course, we carry many excuses, whether they're, warranted or not. But the reality is your word your bond? And if it isn't, stop saying you want to do something and focus on something else. Because our habits or our actions tell us what we want, so to speak. Some people may say, I don't think that's entirely true. But we need to get rid of all of the crap and focus on the authentic side of us that is brutal and loving at the same time. Why do I say those two things? Brutal honesty with self is important because it allows us to get to the bare bones of really understanding what it is that we're actually doing and why we're doing those things. When we get to loving honesty, this is the relationship we have with other people, where they use encouraging, powerful, or enabling questions to help us understand that we're not necessarily doing things the way we should be doing, whatever should looks like to you. And should is dictated by your wants, your desires, your goals, your dreams. And this is why I say your decisions determine your destiny. You have to understand that relationship. Every micro decision that you make results in a subsequent destiny at some point in life. Now, we don't always see these destinies that appear within our life every single day. We don't see those things. But we do have milestones or big moments that really define, quote unquote, our experience, so to speak, based on our perceptions. And therefore, you don't get a chance, is what I'm saying. You do not get a chance to just relax. Okay. Now, I want you to hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't relax, you can't rest, you can't. What I'm saying to you is that the decisions that you make are so crucial, no matter how small they are. And so really encapsulate that sort of like feedback and that knowledge and that information and move that into this space. Now, if you really want to get to a place of exercising your decisions in the right way, I would say you need to have some sort of trigger. You need to have people there on your side, in your corner, who are supporting you. And you need to be able to spread open and wide open your level of self-awareness. Increase your level of internal self-awareness. Increase your levels of external self-awareness. Really have things to remind you of what you are called to do. Because if you don't have things to remind you, it's less likely going to happen. Okay. All these minute personal development things that all these different people do, they help. They're not just woo-woo rah-rah stuff. Like, not everything is worth trying, should we say? But you have to see what works for you. Close the gap between your decisions and your destiny. Close the gap between, your dreams and your desires. Close the gap between what you say you want to do and what you actually do, so you can get a version of reality that, you've called for. So let me know in the comments box below, what is the one thing stopping you from actually achieving your destiny right now? It could be procrastination. It could be your environment. It could be people. It could be simply you. It could just be you. And it'd be great if you can leave any forms of advice or inspiring practical words that could help other individuals watching this video too. If you want to see more videos like this, again, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.